Don Williams again for the Institute of Sports and Spines. Today we're doing a demonstration of an Astrand-Rhyming Submax VO2 Max test. It's quite a long term, but essentially Submax test is an indirect way of measuring your maximum oxygen consumption or your ability to extract oxygen from the air you breathe. It's generally a measure of aerobic capacity. A lot of people use this for a benchmark for their aerobic testing or training. To do our testing at Institute of Sports and Spines, we use a Monarch LC7 test bike, one of the most advanced test bikes in the world, and they run the whole test as a systematic approach, so it really eliminates operator error. So when we're setting up the Submax VO2 Max, we simply input some variables. We can choose the set pedal speed in RPMs, whether we use Borg's index for people's load, and whether we want to use a metronome to coach people in the correct pedaling frequency or RPM or cadence. We put in someone's maximum heart rate and weight, and we can set their seat height, so for future tests we can make sure that they start with the same basic setup. We can also choose their level of fitness, so this will then dictate what the start point will be for the test. We hit go and it's all ready to go. When we hit start, it will give us normally a setting or a heart rate and a fixed cadence and the power output. As we progress over each minute and 2 minute period, then it will incrementally increase the load to bring the heart rate within the parameters required to give an effective test result. Part of the Astrand test is quite simple, so I'm currently just pedaling along at a casual 70 RPM cadence or pedal rate, not under a lot of load, heart rate slowly creeping up, and at the end of this minute interval the computer will work out what level it needs to be changed to continue the test. Going to the second minute of the test now, the computer's calculated that the workload is sufficient at this point. Workload will increase automatically up to the 3 minute mark. The test concludes at 6 minutes. At the conclusion of the test, we could do an analysis of the results. We get just a basic outline of the person, all their variables, age, whether they're male, female, weight, height, etc. When we analyse this, we can see a graph. It doesn't show up terribly clearly here, but test classification for me today was excellent, with a VO2 max of 54.6 mils per minute per kilogram. And this gives us a graph that looks like this. So really, the test is not a difficult test. It's only for 6 minutes, and really in this test I've only gone up to 130 beats per minute with a workload of 1,050. Which is in kpm per minute. It is a test that we can do on people who are not necessarily eligible for a maximal capacity test, but do want to do a test that will give them an idea of what their capacity is, and it is fairly accurate and reliable, and it's certainly retestable, so we can do this in the future. So that concludes the demonstration of a Astrand Submax VO2 Max test.